Hello community, I'm just making another quick video with some little bits and pieces of information. It's just the third day that I decided to start this idea of gathering people together to show up in larger numbers at the Walk of Freedom in Calgary on August 29th. I try to inform myself about that whole situation with the coronavirus, with COVID, with all the information what different governments did and didn't do, and when they started lockdowns and when they went back to more normal. Since it started, since March, I'm really spending a lot of time in informing myself about the situation that we are facing right now in the world. And in Germany, there is a very, very interesting development going on right now. There is huge groups of people coming together and they say enough is enough, and we have enough of all those corona measures, and we know the science that masks are completely ineffective and that the numbers that are presented to us by the main media make absolutely no sense, because they're coming from a test that is not really saying anything, where there is no scientific base to base all those corona measures on. And so what I'm trying to say here is, in Germany there is actually the start of a big movement. And for those of you that are not too familiar with the history of Germany, in 1989 the people of Eastern Germany, which have been at that time still under the regime of the former Soviet Union, started peaceful protests in the streets and on the plazas in the cities in Germany to basically protest to their freedom, and they wanted more freedom to move, because they were very limited to their own country, to Eastern Germany. And after weeks and months of peaceful protest, the amazing thing happened on November 1989, that a regime that has killed people on the border to Western Germany faltered and stopped shooting at people. And actually in that night the wall in Berlin was partly dismantled and the gates opened, and the two countries that belonged together but that were divided politically came back together, and it was the birth of Germany as we know it today. 31 years later, we see a very similar situation happening in Germany right now, with large groups of very, very peaceful people come together to tell the government they are overstepping the authority they have over people, and they are overstepping the boundaries of basic human rights. They are overstepping the law in terms of their own constitution. They have taken out, like here in Canada, the same thing. They have taken out the constitution and replaced it with that hygiene laws or whatever you want to call it, in order to make us like their little puppets, and we have to follow all the orders, which are partly completely ridiculous. I just give that one example that everybody knows. How ridiculous is it that we go into a restaurant with the mask on, and on the table we can take the mask off, because the virus is smart enough to know it should not transmit while we are eating? Like, where's the common sense in that? And there's so many things that are mind-boggling when you listen to real experts, not government-paid puppets that just tell you nonsense stories about how a virus that is not even a novel virus. It's just a mutation of a virus that is very well known and that is around in the scientific field for several decades and probably around for hundreds if not thousands of years already, and it's just a mutation from the SARS-CoV-1, which was already there in 2003 if I'm not mistaken. So this is a little bit too much scientific stuff, because my main message today is something else. I was listening today to the main organizer of one of the large groups of very, very peaceful protests in Germany. And for those that don't know, on August 1st there was an estimated between 800,000 and 1.3 million people on the streets of Berlin, the capital city of Germany, protesting against all the measures that have been implemented by the government in Germany. This protest is seen for many journalists and for many people that know the history of Germany and that have visited other demonstrations as one of the most peaceful protests ever being seen. And part of this is, I listened to an interview today of that main organizer. Part of this is many of those people are involved in meditation groups, and they are trying to do this on a really extremely peaceful level. I tell you this because this is exactly what I'm hoping to accomplish with this gathering of like-minded people, critical thinkers, that we prime ourselves to understand, even if we are angry at the government, even if we have lost our job, our business, whatever has happened to us, if we are super angry about putting our children back in school in 3 weeks with masks on, even if the emotions run high, we have to prime ourselves to make this the most peaceful protest that has ever been witnessed in Canada. And we want to include people. We don't want to go to a point where we say, but he's a liberal, he's an NDP person. All this has to stop. We have to come there in unity. We have to come together, everybody who can see through the agenda of mask wearing and other measures. We have to get to a point where we unite, where all the other issues become secondary or non-existent. We can have very different viewpoints. We can come from different religious backgrounds. We can come from different cultural backgrounds. We can have different views about politics or climate change or whatever the case is. What we want to do, and this is the idea of the group gathering that I'm trying to organize, is to bring people together that love freedom, that stand for democracy, that stand for free speech, that you can speak your mind, that stand for real, true science, not a science where we are saying, oh, but 97% of scientists say such and such. This is not science. Science is to look at facts, take the facts, and make conclusions. And not like coming up with like, oh, that's a democratic process. Science is not a democratic process. Science is facts and looking at the picture from different angles and learning more and more about it. I think we can still learn what happened in the coronavirus experience, and we will find out more and more that all the fear was totally unnecessary and brought way more suffering than the virus itself. And I'm not trying to talk down on people that have been sick, that have suffered, or people that have died. I'm not talking this down. It was a virus, but we need to understand that this coronavirus was much, much milder than most flu years are. And we have no death rate that is extreme. And we have not in one single country have we seen the rates what they predicted in the beginning of the wave of what they call the wave. It was not even a wave, but what they call the infectious wave. They predicted like people dying in the millions, and in the end, in some countries, it was not even reaching 10,000. And I mean, Germany, for example, Germany is a country of over 80 million people, and not even 10,000 died. So the predictions haven't worked, and now we have to come to the realization that this virus has run its course, and it's time to take all measures that have been implemented aside, because we are still a free society, we are still living in a democracy, and we should not live under some laws that are based on the fear-mongering and on wrong predictions of a virus that has run actually a very mild course through our population. So keep in mind, we have this event coming up next weekend, and I'm hoping you share this video and you share where you can get more information, and come in big numbers, and let us form a culture and a group dynamic where we can, in a democratic process, we can find good ways of protesting in such a peaceful manner that nobody wants to take us off the plaza, off the street, because we are speaking the truth and we are for humanity, and we try to build a strong, healthy future generation of human beings that can deal with a little virus like nothing. All the best, stay healthy, stay fit, stay loving, and let's see if we can change the world for a better world. Thank you, and see you soon again.